Hey, welcome to our short video about Thieves. Thieves is a system for previewing. And remember our mnemonic SQ3R. And all of the steps of Thieves are part of S. Okay, so all of this is the survey part. Survey is also called previewing. These steps are meant to be used only for nonfiction, especially for a textbook. Some of the steps you'll see only work for a textbook. When you start your reading in a textbook, try to follow the Thieves system. The very first thing you look at is the title, then any headings. Look for those bold letters of headings. What's the introduction? Can you identify it? How does it introduce you to the topic? Does it have a hook? Does it have an interesting story? Does it give you a preview of what you're going to read? Every first sentence in each section. Now, if it's a short reading, that might be every paragraph. If it's a long reading, a section might be from heading to heading. What about V? V has two meanings, visuals and vocabulary. So visuals, we're thinking of any pictures, graphs, illustrations of any kind, whether it's a photo, a drawing, or some kind of data. Vocabulary, look in the reading for those bold lettered words. Maybe they have a little mark that shows you there's a footnote, but the bold lettered vocabulary words are going to be important. E is for end of the article or end of the chapter questions. See what I mean? That only a textbook has end of chapter questions. Finally, your S, summarize your thinking very quickly to yourself, which might be part of the Q, the question for the SQ3R, but usually all of these thieves is part of the preview that you do, and it should only take a few seconds. So let's try it out with our current reading for homework. Breaking with Tradition, The Beginnings of Impressionism. Okay, that's the title. So here's what you ask yourself when you're thinking about the title. What information does it give you? What is the author going to tell me? And what do I already know about this? Title, Breaking with Tradition, The Beginnings of Impressionism. You know that this is a chapter about art. Impressionism. Do you know that word? So that's the title. Next is going to be headings. Look for any headings. How has the information been grouped? How has it been divided? And actually, what are those smaller topics? You can very quickly make a prediction, but try to relate it to the title, to the big idea. This is another way that you know Thieves System is only for nonfiction, especially textbooks, because fiction and non-textbooks do not usually have headings. So do we have headings here? No headings, just paragraphs. Now it's time for I, introduction. Is the introduction labeled? What kind of intro is it? Does it have a hook? Does it have a short story? Does it have a preview of some sort? Well, let's see. Let's zoom in and read this. And your goal is to skim it quickly. I noticed this phrase, as you saw with David's painting. Well, I haven't seen anything. This is actually a whole new reading. I haven't seen something before. This is a weird introduction. This tells me I'm reading part of a longer work, a longer textbook. So I don't know what they're talking about when they say, as you saw, and there's not a special hook or anything like that. But I did notice the words representational and tradition and challenge and new. So that fits with the title. There's going to be some kind of a change that breaks with tradition. Hey, just like the title says, right? Now it's time for more skimming with E for every first sentence in every section. The sections are not headings, the sections are just paragraphs. So I read this sentence, this sentence, this sentence, this sentence. Now that we're done with E, time to go on to V, visuals. Visuals and vocabulary. This is two things. There are definitely some visuals in this reading. You have this painting of Napoleon. You have a different painting. There's some information about them. But I'm also looking for vocabulary. I'm looking for bold words that might be important. Again, only a textbook will be giving you bold words. So while you take a moment to look at the paintings, also zoom in and look for bold words. Yes, I see some. Characterize, impression, pursue, revolutionary, idealization, spontaneous, emerges. There's not a lot, but those bold words are going to be important. A quick look at visuals and vocabulary. You're not really reading, right? You're just looking at pictures, looking at bold lettered words. Now it's the end of the article. The end of the article might have some questions. The end of the chapter might have some questions. Again, only for textbooks. Well, does this? Let's look at the end of it. And in fact, it says, discuss how the images. All right. Crucial thing here, I think, is that I see, help you understand traditional, impressionist, the differences. That fits actually with the two paintings. One was a very traditional kind of painting. One was an impressionist style of painting. If I put together the visuals with this question at the very end, that helps me understand, what am I supposed to learn from this? Finally, last step. S stands for summarize thinking, and by that, the step means use everything that you did. All of the title, headings, introduction, looking at the visuals, looking at the vocabulary, looking at the end question. What is the main idea going to be? And if you have come up with something like compare and contrast how traditional turned into impressionist paintings, you would be exactly right. Let's double check that by looking at some of the questions that the chapter has later on. Okay, here's one. What are the main ideas? Well, this is just comprehension, but it's facts about impressionists, especially compared to traditional styles, right? How did people feel about it? How was it different? What did people feel about the fact that it was so different? All right, next thing, well, here's a different set of questions at the end. It says go back and read it again. This might be something that you do later, but again, it says list the differences. Traditional art, impressionist art, and you will finish it with the ways these two styles are different. So that is Thieves. The idea is that if you can take knowledge from the reading before you even read it, you are the thief. You are stealing knowledge and you're saving yourself time. I hope that helps. And remember, if you're using SQ3R, all of these steps are just the S, the survey part. Okay, thanks a lot. Take care.